So my favorite seat is this, and well, actually it's not, Virasana is, but this is a really easy, comfortable seat. So if you want to start here, I just want to do, first of all, I just want to share with you how much this improves my mental health in this crazy, surreal time. So I so appreciate it. I'm so grateful that you're doing this with me. Um, and I hope it's the same for you. Lots of love to all of you um, in this bizarre time. So, however you're sitting, just put your hands on your lap with your palms up and open. When you open your palms, you're actually allowing energy that you might need to enter into your body. And then the way things are, I would imagine everybody needs a lot of energy to be received from the universe. In other times when we are full, we actually give energy through our palms when they're open and up, so it goes both ways. In this case, whatever you're feeling, we're just going to take 5 full breaths. So, not effortful. Don't make yourself breathe in fully or out fully. Just close your eyes and watch the breath. And just watch it till it meets the edge. So when the inhale meets the edge where it can't go in anymore, make that turn into an exhale. I'm just going to do 5 very conscious, mindful breaths like that. And as I always say, there is no right or wrong. We need to know that. And I'm intentionally being quiet. And after the next breath, just take a moment, a nanosecond, to feel the frequency, to feel if your energy has come down from way up here. Things can get so frenetic and such a high frequency. And it's all about getting that frequency lower, getting those waves to be a little longer, not so short and not so hyper. So here's where you're going to need your block. Let's start with the block. If you don't have a block, don't worry. So take the block, we're going to sit on it, and you're going to bring soles of the feet together. And move back so you can see my feet. Okay. You'll notice when your butt is up, it's actually easier to do this pose. So just take a moment to let your body adjust. And make sure that you feel your seat. Very important to feel your seat. Also take a moment to feel your spine. Let it effortlessly rise. And then the crown of the head up towards the ceiling, or if you want to go further, towards the heavens. Breathe into that shape. Literally, the breath grounds you. The breath brings you back to the moment. So as we breathe and we come back to the moment, locate your tailbone, and we're going to fold forward from the tailbone and walk the fingertips to the edge. So we're not trying to get anywhere. In fact, we're trying to really know our own edges. So some people have soft edges, some people have hard edges. An edge is an edge, and we love our edges. And while we're here, you're just going to pull your tummy in on the exhale. So we're going to take 3 more breaths, pulling the tummy in on the exhale, and you might notice, or at least pay attention to what happens when you do that. So every action has a reaction. And the more aware you are, the more you can allow that to happen in spite of you. So even if you have an edge and it's a hard edge, if you pay attention to the internal actions that we're doing, it could become a softer edge. So from here, we're just going to walk fingertips over to the right and feel the left side of the body. Again, we're not trying to go far. We're just trying to start the energy moving and incorporate the breath over to the other side, feeling the right side. Using the breath and pulling the tummy in on the exhale if that's available to you. Come back to the center and take a moment to hinge yourself back up so that, again, you can feel that seat, you can feel the spine, and you can feel the head lifting. So it's a lighter sensation than being heavy and earthbound. Let's just bring the arms up and the shoulders go down. We're going to take a twist. I'm going to the right. And as you twist to the right, I want you to visualize a corkscrew. And the corkscrew is similar to the spine, and you're twisting around your spine. And if you can, pull your tummy in on the exhale and notice. Maybe you go a little further. And we're going to bring the arms up, and we're going to twist to the left. Going to take about 5 breaths here just to get that first twist action and get the body slightly heated up. And of course, my counting sucks, so I have no idea where we are. Going to come back to the center, twist to the right, exhale, inhale to the center, twist to the left, exhale. 4 more. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. 3. Inhale, exhale. 2. Last one. Inhale, exhale. Nice. Coming back to the center, let all that kind of settle in. Actually, I want to take my watch off. Very distracting. With fingertips on the floor, take a little walk over to the right. Bring the left arm overhead. Use the right fingertips to press the left butt down. That way you can feel that left side. And if you reach through the fingertips, you might feel it from the fingertips all the way down to the left butt. Coming back to the center, right arm up, fingertips over to the left, pressing with the left fingertips to get the right butt down and lengthen through the fingertips. Make sure your heart's open, so you don't want to be rounding forward. That way, you get this whole beautiful arc on the right side, and bring it back to the center. Then come off the block, soles of the feet together. And one more time, we're going to fold it forward. So once you're off the block, it's a little bit more challenging, but you go a little bit deeper. So we want to go as deep as possible into this fold. And we're going to take 4 more breaths here, pulling the tummy in and trying to go as deep into it as possible. If you want to, you can just drop your head and let your knees drop too. If you can do this without tensing up your shoulders, you can press your knees down with your hands and see if you can get a little more stretch in the inner thighs. And then we're going to come back up. And last block version or variation. So you have two choices here. 2. 1, you can just put the block between your feet like this. The harder variation is put the block underneath your feet. So your choice. I'm not looking. No judgment. So come on from the tailbone, fold forward. Let the knees drop. If you're able to drop your head down, it could end up right in your arch, which will kind of be kind of cool, actually. And we'll take about 3 more breaths here, pulling your tummy in. By the way, I didn't have a chance to do a practice this morning, so I'm literally doing this with you. And again, we're going to hinge it back up from the tailbone, sitting up nice and tall. Get rid of the block. We might use it again, so don't put it too far away. So right leg is going to be straight, flexing into the heel. So a lot of people make a mistake here. A lot of people punch through the balls of the feet. I would rather have you reach through the heel. So just something to observe. If you don't have a lot of range in this pose, move the left foot further down the leg, because it's not about how far this foot or how close this foot is to your body. It's about feeling your seat, feeling your spine, and lifting light and free, so that you can just fold forward from the tailbone. Again, love your edge. Everybody's edge is different. Once you get to your edge, use your breath, pull your tummy in on the exhale, reach through the heel, and fold. So after the next breath, you're going to take the left hand on the outside of the right foot, take the right fingertips somewhere on the mat, and find that corkscrew. So the image of the corkscrew is a very long, thin cylinder, which is very similar to the spine. So my goal is to get you as close to your spine as possible as you twist, hence the corkscrew visual. And bring it on back. I'm going to take this right knee, fold it behind, and if you can, just get your left foot, the arc of the foot, to wrap around the knee. Everybody's got a different range here. It's possible that you're not going to be able to sit flat on your butt. If you need to put something underneath your butt, please do, and I'll give you a second if you do. So just getting into this pose brings on a whole different messaging system. You feel it from different parts of the body. So your job is to pay attention. Send your attention to where you're feeling it and send your breath there. Energy follows attention, and you want your energy where you're feeling it the most. So we're going to take an awkward twist to the right. Same corkscrew idea. So visualize that corkscrew. And the twist starts at the base, so that in a way that's a cue to use your abdominals. Using your abdominals is as simple as pulling your tummy in on the exhale. So then we're going to swing over to the left. The main action here is to roll your hip forward. And if you feel it through here, you're right where you should be. And if you want to take it further, just walk your fingertips around yourself. Always pulling your tummy in on the exhale, and you'll notice how that changes the experience. So we're opening up all these spaces to use later on in the practice. Bring it on back to the center. And left leg straight, right foot bent, knee bent, foot in the inner thigh. Again, the priority is to be sound on your pelvic floor, so that you don't even have to think about the space between your vertebrae, and they're rising and lifting, and your head is just floating out into the universe. From there, you just fold forward from the tailbone. Try not to stress your shoulders out. So just because I'm holding onto my foot doesn't mean you should hold on to your foot. You can hold on here, you can walk your fingertips. So you got to pay attention to everything. This is like major multitasking. Taking the right hand on the outside of the left leg. It could be the foot, it could be the calf. And visualize the corkscrew again and use the breath. So as you pull your tummy in, you might notice, oh, look at that, I do go a little bit further. And just check and make sure you're not rounding. Make sure you're extending and lifting. Nice. Taking that left foot behind you, walk the right foot up so that the arc wraps around the knee. Take a minute here because this changes the whole equation. You start feeling different things in different parts of your body. Those are signals. You want to pay attention, send your energy, send your breath, and twist to the left. Your body talks to you, so have a conversation. That's what this is all about. And God knows, we're being pulled out to the edges by everything that's happening. We really do need that skill of pulling it all back to the center. Having a conversation with yourself does just that. Come over to the right. First, roll into the left hip. You'll feel it. Send your attention there. If you want to go further, just walk around yourself. And don't forget, use your breath, use your abdominals. Notice what happens. Coming back, coming on all fours. So set up your tabletop first. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and just notice the use of the bones, right? So I said the other day, you can't do yoga without bones. And we tend not to think about that. So this pose is so simple. You can actually feel the relationship of the bones in these movements and these actions. So we're going to knock out 5 cats and cows using the breath, of course. So we're going to inhale to the cow and exhale to the cat. You might feel all sorts of things in this. Just pay attention. Inhale and exhale. If your body wants you to move a certain way, move a certain way. Exhale. So my body likes this a lot. Inhale and exhale. Also moving back and forth. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Come forward. Inhale to your cow. And let's sit back into sort of a cat child's pose combo. And just stay here for a minute because we're going to be kind of paying attention to this relationship later. So just feel it. It can feel very comforting, actually. You know, like very compact. It's close to a fetal position, so that makes a lot of sense. So when we come forward, we're going to inhale to the cow. When we go back, we're going to exhale to the cat. So let's just knock that out. Inhale, no right or wrong. For 3, inhale, exhale. For 2, inhale, exhale. For 1, inhale, exhale. Staying in the child's pose, turn the toes under. Everybody's got a different version of this. It's all just to open up the feet. Feel the bend in the toes. Feel the stretch from the toes to the heel. If you want to, you can come up to this position. It's all up to you. Nobody's watching. Nobody's ever watching. It's always your own experience. That's a wonderful lesson in yoga. And last breath. Coming back to your tabletop, relax the toes. All of us, just turn your hands out. I'm not going to do the full wrist turns. And keep your elbows soft and your shoulders sliding down your back. Just make sure you can kind of stay in this. And we're going to do 5 cats and cows with the hands turned like this. So we're going to inhale to the cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale. Exhale. 3 more. Inhale. Last one. Inhale. Come back to tabletop. You can do this one hand at a time or both. Turn your hands so that the top of the hand is on the mat. It almost kind of seems like, really? You're going to do one at a time or both. And if you can stand it, isometrically draw the hands out to the edge of the mat. You'll feel it, I guarantee. Nice. So, got a little warmed up there. With hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, you can extend the right arm, extend the left leg. This is a balance. You might feel a little shaky, you might feel a little wobbly, but that's the point. You can always check in with your abdominals. That'll pull it back to the center if you need it. But pay attention to where the wobbliness is coming in most. And use your breath. So balances are improved when we include the breath. So we're going to stay here. We're going to inhale, extend, exhale, bring knee to elbow. Inhale and exhale. Inhale for 3, exhale. Inhale for 2, exhale. Inhale for 1, exhale. Come back. And at any time, if you need to reposition yourself or take a break, please do. Bending the back knee. See if you can grab onto the ankle. If you can, keep the right elbow soft. And keep lifting the knee. So you might start feeling all sorts of things. What I'd really like you to feel is the left quad, the left glute. If you keep the elbow bent, you'll feel right in front of that left shoulder. And we'll take 2 more breaths here. And 1 more breath. So when we come down, just extend the back knee, but keep it up. Bring the right hand down to the mat. You're going to swivel, my back's going to be towards you, but you're going to swivel that right foot over to the side, shift the weight onto the right hand, and come into a modified side plank. I'm going to give you time to kind of find this. And then we're going to take about 3 more breaths here. Try to make sure that the hand that's up in the air lines up with the hand that's on the mat. Hopefully mine is, I can't see. And 1 more breath. Bring it back down. And here's that tabletop. Feels really kind of welcoming and stable. So breathe into it for a moment. I forgot. Okay, so it's left hand, right leg. I'm going to hold that for 5. In a way, it's just to get your bearings. And again, if you don't understand what I'm talking about with the bones, it's like you couldn't do this without bones. So just think about that. And that'll help you understand how to include that sensation. So after the next breath, we're going to inhale, exhale, elbow to knee, inhale for 4, inhale for 3, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, come back, steady yourself if you need to, find your center, equilibrium, bend the right knee, grab onto that foot, and just check in and make sure that the right shoulder is still over the right wrist. And then you can start playing around and getting fancy. You can lift the knee higher, bend the left elbow, breathe into the left lung, inhale, exhale. So when we come back down, the right leg is going to stay up in the air, but straight. You're going to shift the weight. No, sorry. You're going to swivel the left knee over to the side, weight onto the left hand. Elbows stay soft. If you're a hyperextender like I am, you have to always check and make sure that your elbows are soft. You can reach through the heel if you want that experience. I think I forgot last round. If you want to get really fancy, you can hold on to the ankle. I did forget. Sorry. So it just extends the pose and the balance, and the benefit for the serratus anterior, which is underneath here, to get stronger. And bring it down. Take a moment. Take about 3 or 4 breaths in your child's pose. I'm actually losing my breath. So we kind of want that because you want your heart rate to be accelerating and working. So let's go into our sequence. If you don't know the sequence, you can follow me. Most of you, I think, do. And it's pretty easy. It's not complicated, so don't get nervous. But we want to keep that heart rate going and the breath deepening. So we start in child's pose. And if you're in your child's pose, all you have to do is walk your fingertips out. Also, distance is a little thing that you have to kind of play with here. We're going to stay in each different pose just to let the body warm up. So the first round doesn't count. Inhale forward and through to upward facing dog. Stay here a moment. Move it. Don't keep it stagnant. Move. Whichever way you get to it, we're going to get to a dog. I adjust my distance at this point by walking my feet up. Let me just move a little bit. So you're going to wave it forward if you choose to, coming into a plank. Wave it back if you choose to. You don't have to. Down to your knees. Inhale. Coordinate the breath with this. Exhale to your child or your cat. So now we're going to do 5 straight through. Inhale forward and through. Upward facing. Exhale. Downward facing. Wave it forward. Inhale. Wave it back. Exhale. Down to your knees. Inhale. Back. Inhale forward and through. Exhale, dog. Inhale, wave forward. Exhale, wave back. Inhale down to the knees. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale, 2 more. I'm counting. Exhale. Wave through. Wave it back. Exhale. Down to your knees. Inhale. Back to your heels. And 1 more. Inhale forward and through. Will wonders never cease. Exhale. Wave it through. Wave it back. Down to your knees. Inhale. Exhale back to your heels. I'm going to assume that everybody needs to catch their breath. So let's do that before we move on, because I need a sip of water anyway. You could take a water break too. Oh, delicious. Okay. So we're going to make our way back to a dog. We're going to come forward and through to get there. Flip over the toes. So you have to monitor yourself and do what you're able to do. That being said, I'm going to slightly shift the weight into the left hand and take the right hand off and place it on your back if you can. If you can't, just stay in your dog and just play with lightly touching the floor with your right hand, using your breath. Bring that right hand back down, shifting the weight slightly because you don't want to compromise your form too much. And with the right hand on the mat, bring the left hand onto your back. You can play with reaching through your heels. That'll kind of bring everything back to the center and keep you stable. And left hand back on the mat. I'm gonna float the right leg up, 3-legged dog. Again, if you're not comfortable with this, just lift the leg off or stay in your dog. If you're comfortable with this, we're just going to open it up and keep lifting that knee so you fire up that glute and use your breath. Make sure you're pressing into your knuckles rather than sitting heavy into the heels of your hands. Float it back down. Float the left leg up, same thing. Open it out, but make sure that you're reaching through the heel of the right foot. Fire up the left glute by lifting the knee and slide into the knuckles of your hands so that you don't sit heavy in the heels of your hands. If anybody needs to take a break here, please do. If not, just stay in your dog. We're going to float that right leg up, not too high, because we're going to come forward in a plank, bring right knee to right elbow, back to the three-legged. 2 more times. Right knee, right elbow, plank. 1 more time. Float that leg down. Left leg floats up. Left knee to left elbow. Left knee to left elbow. Inhale, exhale to your three-legged. 1 more time. So this is just sort of like a challenge. Anybody that wants to do it at any time, actually, come down for a second. And just take a second before we move on to the challenge. So those of you who want to skip the challenge and stay in your child's pose, you're welcome to do so. Those of you who want to do the challenge, come back to your dog. So we're going to take the right hand off. We're going to shift the heels over to the left and come into a version of Vajrasthana. So again, notice that the hand that's up in the air lines up with the hand that's on the mat, and my hips are up. So this pose is only doable if you stay light and lifted. So think about kissing the floor with your left hand. Bringing it back. Take a minute in your dog to recalibrate. I'm going to take the left hand off, place it on your back or wherever you're comfortable. Swivel the hips over to the heels. And Vajrasthana variation on the right. Again, you want to keep this shoulder over that wrist. Alignment matters, especially when you're dealing with bones, when you're trying to understand bones. And bring it back and back to your child's pose. So when you're trying to understand bones, the more aligned you are, the more you can actually feel them. So again, a little schwitzy. Woo. So it's really easy to get into a hang from a child's pose. So I'd like to do that. So you're going to turn those toes under, which we opened up, so that's kind of cool. You can walk your hands back towards your knees, and voila, here you are in your hang. So I'm going to just step forward so I'm more in the middle. We're going to keep the fingertips on the floor if they're there. If they're not, we'll get there. And of course, it's not necessary. But we're going to keep those knees soft. And before we move on, just going to take 5 breaths to press the balls of the big toes down, outer edges of the heels apart. The goal is to fire up the outsides of the legs all the way up to the athletic bones, and then potentially feeling that heat across your sacrum. So even if you don't feel it, don't worry about it. But do practice pressing the balls of the big toes down, outer edges of the heels apart, and see if you can fire it up. Most people can do this, can feel the fire, and then the more you do it, the more it opens up the channel so that you can feel it all the way up to here. And then just keep those knees soft, let the head and the arms hang really heavy. Use your abdominals to roll up. And again, I guess that's the theme of this practice. It's all about the bones. So let me step back a little bit so you can see more of me in your hang. So let's just aim those fingertips down to the floor so that you can feel your armpits. And take a few breaths here, just to acknowledge we're standing, we're upright. Not that many bends and folds and back bends, and not much going on here other than feeling the earth. And that's so important these days. So we're just going to float those arms up, let the shoulders drop down. I'm going to go through this kind of quickly because it's just a warm up. Bring palms together, interlock fingers, turn your palms. If you can't see me, you turn your palms up like this and give yourself a little back bend. Inhale, exhale. One more breath. So we're just going to bring the hands down, approximately in front of your heart. Keep the elbows soft. Soften your knees so that you can round into your back and feel it all the way down to your tailbone. Feels really, really good. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit. So we're going to inhale, hands up, exhale, hands in front. Inhale and exhale. Inhale for 3. Exhale. Inhale for 2. Exhale. One more. Exhale. Bring your hands up again. Keep your hands the way they are. Bring them underneath your chin. Long spine to fold forward. Stop halfway so you can check. See if your tailbone's going back and the crown of your head's going forward. Take a couple of breaths using your abdominals because you don't want to get too bent, too bendy in that lower back. And then bring it all the way down. So 5 breaths. Practicing your abducting. Inhaling and exhaling. And letting the head hang heavy and the arms hang heavy is very important. So I want to sort of start throwing in chair pose. So right here is a really good opportunity to practice this relationship. So bend your knees as much as you can to feel this. And if you don't worry about it. We're works in progress. So it's never about the actual pose. It's the conversation and the relationship that you have with yourself while you're trying to get to these places. So keeping you here on purpose, because we just want to play around with this feeling, this relationship, this attachment. If you're able to, you're just going to bring your arms as high as they come. So here's modified chair pose. I'm not trying to get your arms really way up. And bring your hands down, butt goes up, head goes down. So we're just going to do that about 4 more times. So stay here, bend your knees, chest on thighs, arms as high as they come. Use your breath. Butt goes up, head goes down. And again, bend knees, modified child's chair pose. Butt goes up. Try to keep this relationship. I said the other day, picture that you have peanuts stuck in your hip creases and you're trying to crush them. And one more. Then knees, sit down. This time, you're going to straighten those knees and come on up. And breathe. Float the arms down. So we're going to play a little bit around with play around a little with balancing. And stretching the tops of the feet. If you notice, we didn't do that before. So I'm just going to pull my mat back so you can see me a little bit better. So come to the middle of the mat if you're on the mat. You can put your hands wherever they're comfortable. On your hips would work. So we're going to take this right foot and take it far back. And this might be enough. You might already be getting messages from your feet or your foot. So just go with it. Breathe into it. Same thing as wrists. That feels really nasty, but if you stay there, giving your hands a really nice stretch that they need. Well, this is a stretch that your feet need. If you're brave and adventurous, bend your knees and try to feel all the way up the front of your foot to your ankle. Take one more breath, playing around with that. So, come back here with the back toes turned under. You're going to shift the weight onto the left foot. Float the arms up if you can, and this might be as far into this balance that you're going to go. If you want to go further, you can interlock your fingers if you want to, and point your index fingers. This is totally up to you to go as far into this balance as you're able to. Like, I'm very wobbly on my left, so I have to concentrate on my foot mostly and kind of forfeit going whoop, as far as I think I can. See, can't go any further than that. But the longer I can stay in this, the stronger that left leg's going to get. I'm going to say one more breath and bring it back. Sometimes it's not so pretty, but that's not what it's about anyway. Okay, left foot. Turn those toes under, your edge, your tolerance. I have pretty high tolerance for this. And the motivation is that my mother and my grandmother had very gnarly feet, and I don't want gnarly feet, or hands for that matter. Little personal stuff. Okay, so we're going to straighten, shift the weight onto the right foot. I probably won't be that wobbly on this side. Whoa. Hands up overhead, interlock your fingers, pointer fingers, and concentrate. Send your attention to your foot. If you're able to stay in this, see, I spoke too soon. Just remember that the back foot is the rudder. So if it swings back and forth, you're going to go back and forth. One more breath. And bring it back down. Whew. Shake it out. Okay, guys. So we're going to do a little moving. And again, I'm going to keep it simple because we haven't done practice in a long time, me included. So we're just going to keep it pretty basic, but we're going to kind of move through my version of salutations. So come to the front of your mat. Hopefully this is working for everybody in terms of being able to watch me. So if you want to stay for feedback afterwards, please do. Okay, so stay here for a moment. It's always a nice moment to pull everything back to the center, back to the breath. If you did experience like a coming down of the frequency and a closer relationship to yourself in the beginning of the practice, just take a moment to recall it while we're standing here. So we're going to do 5 preps. I'll be calling it out and then you can watch me. So we're going to inhale, big arc of the arms. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reverse that swan dive. Exhale back to the heart. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And back to the heart. If you want to listen to your breath, make it very loud. It's a version of Ujjayi. And the preferred breath for some reason, and I understand the reason, is to breathe through your nose. So if you want to do that, you can. It's just a more even valve. And exhale. Inhale. And back to the heart. Okay. Take a breath. Come back to the center. Inhale. Bring your arms out and up. Exhale. Fold. We're going to stay in this fold. You're going to bend your knees. You're going to drop your butt. Come back to this modified Utkatasana. Leg goes up, head goes down. I'm going to step back on the left foot. Drop the back knee down to the mat and come on up to this. I call it a half monkey. It has all kinds of names. Just going to do basic monkeys, lunges, and warriors. So basic half monkey, you just want to check in, make sure your hips are square. You don't want to go too deep. So back it up if you are a little too deep. And use your breath to pull all that energy up through your quads. Bring the arms up. And you can take a little back bend here. Inhale, exhale. When you come back to neutral, bring the hands behind the back, clasp the palms together, keep the elbows soft, squeeze between the shoulder blades, open up across the collarbones. Inhale, exhale. Let's take a little fold until the shoulder hits the knee. We're not going to go any further than this. Just keep extending the hands back. Keep squeezing between the shoulder blades, opening up across the collarbones. When you release the hands, bring them on either side of the front foot. Lift the back knee and step left foot next to right. Fold forward. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, back to the heart. Other side. Inhale and exhale. Bend the knees, sit down, arms at a comfortable height. You can bounce, you can do whatever feels comfortable in this chair pose. When you bring the fingertips back down to the floor, I'm going to step it back on the right and drop the right knee. Bring the arms up. Most important, first priority is hips square. There's lots of different internal actions in these poses, but I'm keeping it simple today. And the nicest thing though is to play with lightness. So lift out of the back, the back quad. Bring the hands behind the back, clasp the palms together, squeeze between the shoulder blades, open up across the collarbones. Keep the elbows soft, fold forward. Just to your edge, guys. And use your breath. Try to keep that left knee over the ankle. So if you find yourself doing this, just reset yourself. You're going to release those hands, bring them on either side of the front foot and step the right foot next to the left. Fold forward. Reverse the swan dive. Back to the heart. Take a breath. Inhale, bring the arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward. This time, with fingertips down on the floor or on blocks, so you have to be the judge, I'm going to float the left leg up behind us. And that's it. So just stay here, square your hips off, reach through the heel. If you want to challenge your balance, go right ahead, but we'll be doing it in the next sequence. So you might want to save your energy. So you're going to take that left foot, step it back for a lunge. Clearly lunges are harder than half monkeys. So let's take a moment here. You want the knee over the ankle. You don't want to go too deep, so we're not looking for any kind of depth here. We're actually looking for hips to be square, and we're looking for a very strong back leg, which happens if we reach through that heel that we stretched through before. And bring the arms up if you can. Just going to take 3 breaths here. Inhale, exhale. I may mess up the count. Fold forward, hands on either side of the front foot. Step it up, fold forward. Reverse your swan dive, and back to the heart. A breath. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive. Shift the weight onto the left foot and let the right leg float up. Only hips height, doesn't have to go any higher. Again, let's stay here for a few more breaths, let's say 3. And again, the longer you stay in a balance, the stronger the leg. So the standing leg is actually getting the benefit here. Step that right foot back down. Oh, sorry, to a lunge. Get your bearings. Play with your balance, all about center. By the way, pulling your tummy in on the exhale throughout the practice is a real bonus, and eventually we'll get to the point that that's second nature. Bring those arms up. Priority is squared hips, so I'm not interested in you going deep, but I am interested in the knee staying over the ankle and reaching through the back heel. And if you're at that point where you can play a light practice, just kiss the floor wherever you're making contact and feel your body levitate way off into the sunset. Bring fingertips down to the floor, step it up on the right, fold forward, reverse your swan dive, and back to the heart. So one last sequence. Inhale, exhale. We're going to float that left leg up. At this time, play around with the balance. So either one hand off at a time or both. Trying to hold it for at least 5 breaths. Reaching through that heel, and don't let that back leg sway. That's your rudder. Bring fingertips back down to the floor. We're going to step back to a warrior one. Again, we're keeping it basic. So take a couple of breaths at your warrior one. Always hips, pelvis, square is the priority. We're not worried about depth here. Try to maintain your base. So that's the kind of focus that I'd like everybody to pay attention to. So the base doesn't change. So from here, the only thing that changes is the upper body. We go to here. You need your breath quite a bit. We're going to keep the peaceful warrior with the knee bent so that, again, you can see it's not about the base. The base stays the same. You rely on the base. It's only the upper body that changes. And then we're going to windmill, bring both fingertips down. Step the left foot next to the right, fold forward. Reverse your swan dive. Back to the heart. Other side. Inhale. Exhale. Right leg floats up. I think I'm getting too close to the wall. Okay, I'm going to take a balance. You might notice that your balance is getting a little bit better the more times you do it, or you might not. Mine is like arguing. Okay, I'm going to step back to warrior one. Today it's about the base, always about the base. So you want the knee over the ankle. You want the hips to be square. You want to reach through that back leg, feel the outside of the back foot, so that all that changes is upper body. And keep your arms soft. I meant to say that. So watch. This is not going to change. All that's changing is my upper body. And here's that side bend that we did earlier. And then we're going to windmill. Step right next to left. Fold forward. Reverse your swan dive. And back to the heart. So the way that we're going to get back to the mat is you're going to bring your heels together. You're going to come down to a ballet squat, like so. So this can be quite, I actually hate this word, but it's the best word to describe this. Very delicious. Because we did a lot of stuff that could have made our SI joints get a little tight. So once you get into this pose, and if you have bad knees, just don't do it. You can lie on your back actually and bring your knees towards your chest, same thing. But if you're in this ballet squat, see how my back is not rounded? So the difference would be if I was like this, instead you want to be like this. And if you do feel it in these corners, it's where you should be. So we'll just take about 2 more breaths, giving that SI joint a little love. And drop onto the mat. Okay. So we're going to do some core. I'd have to figure out how to do this without my little contraption. So bear with me for a second. First, let's do this. So take your fingertips behind you. No, first we'll do this. So hold on to your, we did this the other day, and it's just a really nice way to get your abdominal action going. So here, you're just going to pull your tummy in on the exhale, just to start that engine revving. Inhale, exhale. We're going to let go, which is going to change everything, because your hip flexors are going to want to start working. But no, you want your abs. So concentrate, pull your tummy in on the exhale. You be the boss. You be the captain of the ship. Okay. So let it go. Everything's starting to warm up and be used. Bring your hands behind your back like so. Just try not to jam into your elbows. So maybe bend your elbows a little bit and bring your knees back here. And all we're going to do is maybe it's here. Let's do here. It depends. If you're comfortable with this, keep your fingertips here, and we're just going to do bending and straightening alternatively, right? So alternate right and left. If you're able, you can also bring your hands behind your back and do a this and a this and a this, okay? So we're going to do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And fold forward. So turn around. This is the twist I was doing the other day that the session cut off. So take the right leg, straight knee, bend the left. And again, it's never about getting this foot close to your body. It's about feeling your pelvic floor, feeling your spine rise. So full circle, head floating up. I'm going to fold forward. Everybody's got a different edge here. It's a very challenging pose. So even if you're used to having soft edges and you can bend in every way, shape, or form, this may become a little bit of a challenge. But this is also for the SI joint on the left. So that's what we're going for. If you don't feel it, don't worry about it. Just keep pulling your tummy in. So we did all that core stuff. So continue to keep pulling your tummy in. We'll take 2 more breaths here. Again, never let your shoulders come up to your ears, because I know that's what they want to do. So if just bringing your hands down to the mat, whatever sends the message to your shoulders to like take a chill pill. 1 more breath. You're going to take this left foot and place it on the outside of the right knee. Left hand on the mat, right elbow, hook it. If you can't hook it, hold on. And by this time, we're so warmed up that this twist might surprise you. You might go further than you think. So again, even in twists, you want to kind of visualize that corkscrew. You want to visualize a nice long spine and think that you're spinning around your spine. And you can press the elbow into the knee and the knee into the elbow. It's so delicious. I hate that word, but it's appropriate. And then we're going to come on back. So again, everybody's got a different range with this. We're going to try to keep this left knee bent. It's kind of like a half Gomukhasana, half cow. So you want to use the weight of the left leg, and you're still reaching through the right heel. And you might be very surprised at what happens when you fold forward, because it gets really stretchy, particularly in the back of the right leg. But you'll thank me for this. I hope. Inhale, exhale. 2 more breaths. Don't forget to use your abdominals, so pull them in on the exhale. It's the most basic way to use your abdominals, although they are shaped like a cylinder, so sometimes we think more about cylindrically wrapping. But for today, we're keeping it simple. So when we come back, you're going to take this right foot and move it over to the left. If you can, wherever you can, hold on. So if you can hold on to your foot, it's kind of good because it keeps your foot nice and square, but that's fine. You can hold on here too. And again, this is for your IT band, by the way, which we didn't talk too much about today. We didn't talk about the psoas either. One more breath. Nice. And other side. Left foot straight, right knee bent, foot on the floor, not important. Also, you can drop this knee a little bit and you might actually feel that SI joint more. I do. And use your breath. Pull that tummy in on the exhale. Nice. See if you can go beyond the hard edge. See if a hard edge becomes a soft edge. It's just a nice little project. And when we bring it back up, right foot on the outside of the left leg, your version. Breathing. In this twist, your body is actually facing forward, and if you can get all the way around, your head is directly behind you. It's kind of creepy, really, but it's a destination. And bring it back. Right knee gets really heavy, drops onto the left, fold forward, reach through the heel, always. Always pull your tummy in on the exhale. Play around with your edges here. You may discover that you have a soft edge here. That's the beauty of yoga. You bend, you twist, and you fold every possible way so that you find out where your soft edges are, where your hard edges are, where you easily go. And actually, the practice is to learn how to go where you don't easily go. So that's always a gift. Bring it back up, left foot over to the right, wherever you can hold on. And last twist. Nice. So I can remember this. It's been a long time. I'm going to do this little closing. It's kind of like a meditation. So sit comfortably. And I'm intentionally not doing Shavasana because I'm going to leave that up to you. So with your hands in Anjali Mudra, by this point, there's probably lots of energy. I'm going to move a little closer. Your hands are probably really warm. So try not to press them too hard. Try to leave a little space there because you want to let that heat generate. And if you really pay attention, so it does take a lot of concentration, you can actually feel the interaction of the energy from palm to palm. It's just a very lovely target, a lovely thing to even visualize if you don't feel it. You know, these palms that we were talking about before, now bring them together and let them talk to each other and generate energy. Inhale, exhale, especially because we can't touch anything or anybody. So in a way, it becomes a gift to feel your own touching. Nice. So we're going to bring thumbs right into the bridge of our nose and our eye sockets. It's right below the third eye. Just take a moment here to like visualize that spot that's considered the third eye. And then you can even visualize a little person like yourself sitting there on a pillow. That's the center. And your fingertips are like stretching and lengthening out to the edges of the universe. So we're playing both the micro and we're playing the macro. So our little beings out to the massive being of the universe. Take a few breaths here. I'm going to keep those thumbs together. Bring your hands like so. Looks like a little butterfly. Place them over your heart. And let's send energy, attention, literally to the heart. And as you breathe and you feel the chest going up and down, you're actually feeding your heart, you're feeding your compassion. And one more breath. And we'll bring hands back to the heart. Fold forward. And namaste. Thank you. And until we meet again.